Alright, heathens, I am back with my review of Sisterwives Season 1, Episode 3. Sorry for the delay, I've been in the middle of a move, so my energy has been somewhere else. And hi, if you're new here, my name is Ben. I grew up on a Mormon polygamous compound. I'm a comic out in the wicked world, just vibing the apocalypse, and I happen to be one of the many nephews of the Sisterwives. Today we're going to talk about Episode 3, in which somehow Cody and Robin are already engaged. I don't know how we missed that. Bad editing, I guess. And then the family heads down to St. George to move Robin up to Lehigh so that they can all be together. First thing I want to hit on is the prevalence of mansplaining or man justifying in this episode. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of lip service given to how the man sees things or how great of a dad Cody is or any number of things, but there's not a lot of evidence of those things actually being true. So for example, at one point, Cody says, "I'm not the only person in love with Robin." And he kind of looks up at Mary in this really uncomfortable exchange where Mary's given Robin a birthday present. And it's obvious that what he's saying is also Mary's in love with Robin, but you never hear Mary say that. So Cody just mansplained Mary's relationship to Robin, which is weird. And then a bunch of talk about how great of a dad Cody is. Like, he's such a great dad. Lots of boosting, lots of Cody's voice, lots of like giving lip service to this thing, but the evidence, it's like, show me that then. Don't tell me that, show me. And there's not a lot of showing, especially given all of the chaos that's been introduced to this family, basically to get him a young bride. Like, I feel like if Cody was a really good dad, he wouldn't be putting his daughters, his teenage daughters, in the very uncomfortable position of planning a birthday party for his girlfriend. Like, that is next level weird. I don't even know who thought that was a good idea. And they're like, well, we're just glad that he didn't marry an 18-year-old. That's a very low bar for being a good dad. The MVP for this episode is still Aspen for just continually calling it exactly how she sees it. I still think this is weird. And then that line about how Robin hugged one of them and was like, she was wearing her dad's jacket and Robin smelled it and was like, your dad. Gross. The second thing I want to hit on is Robin's comment about how when she was a kid, she had to hide who she was. And sometimes she couldn't even acknowledge her dad, which was the reality for a lot of polygamous kids up until just maybe a decade ago, really kind of coinciding with the release of Sisterwives. One of the few positive things I might say about Sisterwives is that it did create a more open society, I guess. Like, it made it less underground, which is good, but it also is trying to paint it as positive. And so it's like, let's get it out of the underground and let's also acknowledge that polygamy is abusive to women and children and to men, frankly, because it's not good for men, but it hurts them in a different way. I remember being 7 or 8 years old and we went into town for one of our few encounters with the broader society of Lovell, Wyoming. And we were taking this sign language class, and I asked a question to the teacher. I was asking how would I say, I learned that this is how you say mom. And so I was like, how would you say other mom, right? How would you say other mom? And she answered the question, but then when we got home, I got into a lot of trouble for that because I'd exposed us as polygamists. And that's the thing that you're not supposed to do. Don't let anyone know who you are. Just keep it under the radar. Which honestly, the teacher didn't care. She was fine. So that really is more of a self-policing thing. It's more of a way to keep the group insular and to keep it from connecting with the wider world so that then they can paint the wider world as wicked and bad. I like that they're highlighting how the kids feel like they have choice about whether or not to enter polygamy. And especially Madison's very vocal, I'm not going to do this. There's a really telling moment there in that exchange with Robin with just the body language, where Robin's like, yeah, but then you wouldn't get cool people like me in your family. And then Madison physically blocks Robin with a child. It's like a human shield protecting her from her dad's girlfriend, who she also had to plan her birthday party. I'm still really weirded out by that. And then we have to talk about the kiss. Because in some episode that we missed or it wasn't filmed, I don't know, Cody and Robin got engaged and they sealed that engagement with a kiss, which was a big deal for Christine. And it makes sense because generally the vibe in polygamy is that you should act like you're married. Meaning if you were married, as a married man, you wouldn't kiss someone who wasn't your wife. So I understand where Christine's coming from. In my experience, that would be a pretty big breach of trust. that really should have been established early on in the conversation, like what kinds of physical things are going to be okay. It sounds like they didn't do that. In my family, we took kissing very, very seriously. Like, you were not supposed to kiss until you were over the altar with the person that you're getting married to. In fact, we would read like children's books about how, this is coming from like really extreme Christian conservatives, about how giving kisses away was like giving little pieces of your heart. And I remember this story about like this woman who had a dream and she was getting married to the person that she loved more than anything, but then all of the people that she'd ever kissed showed up to the wedding. And that's basically what it is. Like, if you kiss people before you get married, then you're giving a piece of your body and soul away for them, blah, 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 blah. The metaphor that we got told a lot was like chewed gum. You wouldn't chew gum that people have already chewed, right? That's gross. Number one, if I'm making out with someone, of course I would chew their gum. Number two, and this is crucial, humans are not gum. You don't get less valuable just because you've loved people. And the thing about the kiss that was really weird to me actually was the conversation, because Robin's talking about how she hurt Christine, and Christine is fine, and Robin is crying. And that sort of felt really uncomfortably familiar to me, because I've been in dynamics with people where when I would bring up something that they had done that had hurt me, they would have a big, strong emotional reaction to that. And then I would end up comforting them for telling them that my feelings were hurt. It's manipulative. It's insincere. It's not cool. Also, at that moment, I was watching this with my son, and he popped up and he was just like, it seems like there shouldn't be this much crying in a happy family. And I agree completely. Polygamy is not happy. And then I just want to end this review with two quotes that I feel like inadvertently share the reality of polygamy without meaning to. The first is when they're unpacking the rooms and picking which room is going to be which kids at Robin's new house. And Cody claims the room with the windows as Dayton's, because Dayton is the man, and so he has to be by the window so that he can protect the women. Okay, you don't need windows to protect women. That seems to expose something that's true in polygamy, which is men get extra benefits. Why? Because they need to be the ones taking care of everyone else. When really it's like, no, windows don't help you do anything like that. Those benefits don't actually do the thing that you're saying they do. You're just using your power to get better shit at the expense of those who have less power. That's called a patriarchy. And then the last quote comes from Christine right at the very end of the episode, as she's basically installing a dryer while pregnant. She's like, look, you got to know how to do these things when you have more than one wife, because Cody might be gone. And I think that is really, really telling about the lived reality of most wives in polygamy, which is that they are basically single moms. They're single moms with a lot of kids, and then sometimes the dad comes over, but mostly they have to figure out how to do all that stuff by themselves. Incidentally, that's why I think that one of the ways that you help save polygamists is by sending lesbians to polygamous communities. Because then the lesbians can fix all their dryers and build all their shelves and show the women that it actually feels pretty great to be taken care of, and the men aren't doing a great job. Anyway, that's my review of episode 3. Follow for more, I guess.